I love this podcast. This is God Mode Pods. This is the best podcast ever. I love the clips. I'm a big fan.
I have a policy, radical honesty. What does that mean?
I'm always honest about everything happening everywhere, and I take a no BS approach. I think we miss more honesty in the world, and we need to stop the BS so we can actually get shit done.
I'm so excited.
It's Friday. It's a holiday. I don't care anymore. We're good.
Coding an app is the new starting a podcast. We are three dudes. We just started a podcast.
It's incredibly reckless in this world to not learn AI.
Everything is code. I recently realized everything is code. Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of the God Mode Pod. Today is a different episode because our co-host Ben is not here, but we have a friend of the pod here. And he calls himself the destination architect. His name is Goncalo Hall, and he's quite well known in the nomad community, destination architect and CEO of Roatan Tourist Bureau. Before we got to know each other, Goncalo, last summer, you were not CEO in Roatan yet. And I think this is the most exciting thing we want to talk about. How is life in Roatan, and what are you doing exactly there?
First, where the hell is Roatan is what everybody's asking, what you're talking about. Nobody knows where this place is, which is beautiful. So Roatan is an island in the Caribbean that nobody knows about. It's actually part of Honduras. It's underdeveloped. It's not overpriced yet, but it will. And it's just basically now being built. So it feels like Caribbean 20 years ago, which is quite insane. I didn't know the place like this existed. We are 2 hours from Miami, technically 1 hour and a half, but the airlines say 2 hours. We are 2 hours from Houston, Texas with direct flights. We are 2 hours and a half from Atlanta with direct flights to all these places. So it's kind of a miracle that nobody knows about this place, or terrible management and terrible marketing. You can decide which one you go for. Who am I? I built the first nomad village in the world with the government of Madeira Island. I replicated the project all around Portugal. The first nomad village in Brazil, while in South America, was in Pipa with the same theory. And basically, I attract people and foreign direct investment to countries based on the single idea that nobody in the government sector thought about, which is people travel between communities, not between places. So my theory is if we build communities, if we give the people the right conditions to thrive, and if we support them, onboard them, they will thrive. It's what I'm doing here. It's what I've done in all these destinations right now. I was counting last week for a new project. I worked with 9 governments, including Nagasaki, but Rio de Janeiro was one of my last clients and counting. And now I'm basically trying to do the same all around the world, wherever the projects take me. So right now, Roatan, it's one of the best, most interesting challenges of my life, for sure. One of the hardest ones as well. But super fun. And this is what I like. I like empty canvas that we can build from scratch and do whatever we want. And this is what I'm doing here.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you mentioned Roatan last year, or Prospera more specific, I didn't really know what to expect. And it sounded like some sort of dream, to be honest. Like what some people's ideology and things that will happen, but didn't really happen yet. How are things there on the ground right now?
So I'm here because there is this project called Prospera. And Prospera is basically a company that partnered with the government of Honduras after they created the ZE law. And the ZE law basically is the creation of a free economic zone with very specific rules. Some of these rules includes that we can kind of create our own regulation for some sectors, not laws, regulation, very important. Which means that, for example, Brian Johnson was here because this is one of the few places where you can do gene therapy, which is very advanced, but it's not FDA approved yet. It takes millions and millions to approve an FDA. Yet all the research says it's quite safe, to the point that Brian Johnson came here a couple of times and did it, the Kardashians as well, etc. This is only possible because in the ZE law of Honduras, these areas can have their own regulations, or we can regulate. Everything is regulated. Yes, we can follow, for example, Singapore regulations if we want to, which is quite cool, right? It looks like you said it. It's like, how the hell this is possible? And that's the beautiful part. Included in this, so Prospera basically exists to manage and to grow these free economic zones. And they want to attract people, foreign direct investment. I think over 300 companies already registered. The process is very similar to Estonia, if you know what is the residency, meaning you can register the whole company online in minutes. It's very, very simple. And for me as an European, it's a no-brainer. But honestly, being in LATAM, this is like the wildest thing they ever saw. They never had an experience of opening a company in minutes, not in days or when I was trying to open my company in Brazil was 6 months. That was the idea. So very, very happy to have something like this on Latam. And I came here to build the other side, to attract the people. We decided that tourism bureau was a good first step, as nobody knows about Roatan unless somehow you stop it here in the cruise stop for 6-8 hours. So the first job I'm doing here is this developing of Roatan brand. What is Roatan? Speaking in podcasts, putting on the news, building a strategy. There is nothing. Building events, attracting communities, and everything in between. How is it in the ground? The real answer is, for an European that work with Madeira, etc., a little bit underdeveloped. Meaning we have fast internet. I'm here talking on the podcast. The infrastructure to live is quite good. I would say luxury life is actually cheap, yet there is no cheap life. The cheap life is very, very bad. But if you have some money, this is one of the best places I ever lived. I can tell you I spent 5K and I live in a private villa with pool overlooking the Caribbean Ocean in a resort with 2% taxes or something like that. Therefore, is a good life. My kid goes to international school. We have Pristine Academy, which is international school with over 20 nationalities of kids, Montessori base. I play golf. I play tennis. Go to swim every day. For a luxury life, this place is incredible. But yet, we are still building the experiences, which I think is a key part of being happy. Like, Rick, I know you love your sauna. I know you love your workouts. It's still very basic here. If you tell me, is Roatan and Prospera ready to welcome a large number of digital nomads and give them the perfect life like we have in other communities like Bansko, like Bali? The answer is no. Yet, if you are building a business, if you want to build something in a location, there is probably no better place than Prospera and Roatan to do it right now, for all the conditions, for the support you have, and everything in between. This is an empty canvas. So I would say it's a really good place to live. It's raw, it's behind, and it needs to be built.
And you say we don't move between locations, we move between communities, right? How is the community on Roatan, especially when you arrived? Is your goal there to actually build it from startup, or was there already a community?
There was already some really interesting communities, especially Infinita, which is more connected with biotech and longevity. That's why Brian Johnson was here. There are really cool startups in that sector, and that's already being built way before I arrived here. They were the first community to set up here in Prospera. Also a big Bitcoin community. You can buy with Bitcoin everywhere inside Prospera, and I think in more than 60 businesses already around Roatan, which is quite unheard of in Honduras especially, but even in Central America, except El Salvador. So when I arrived in August, which is a terrible month. This place was empty. Yet in the last 3-4 months, it's much more interesting, mostly because Infinita is doing a great job. They brought here the CEO of GitLab, well, not the CEO anymore, but the founder of GitLab, Sid, that you spoke about in the previous podcast. He was telling the story on stage for 1 hour, and the Drapers were here. So lots of really cool people come here for conferences to get to know it, to meet the place. And that makes sure that there is always something happening. I would say in 6-7 out of the 12 months of the year, this is a really cool place for a community. We still need to build the rest. This is the truth. So it's not yet a 12-month destination. I think it's closer in that regard to Cape Town, for example, which is very strong for 6 months and kind of okay for the rest of the year. What I'm seeing this year is we're bringing more and more and more events. Right now, we have the 13 times world champion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here. So you get to train with this, you get to experience and live with this guy. It's insane how I would never meet Cyborg if I was not here. And this keeps happening. The names you are sharing right now, Balaji, Brian Armstrong, Tim Draper, they all pass by, and it's quite normalized inside Prospera that you always have some A-level VIP passing by, someone that you dream only on meeting. Dude, I met Tim Urban. It's insane. I'm a big fan of his writing. He was here last week just chilling. It was like, yeah, this is Tim Urban. I read his stuff for like 3-4 years, and now I'm chilling with him. And this keeps happening.
That's insane. Just to close the Roatan. I mean, I know Luca has quite a lot of questions about Roatan as well, but I want to complete the view in my head. Roatan is the physical location, is the island, right?
Yes.
And then you mentioned Prospera and Infinita and some other organizations. They are then making use of the regulations of Roatan, but they are all separate entities organizing these specific community events. Is that correct?
Yes. So let me help you with that. That's a very good question. So we have Roatan is the island, physical island. It exists for years. Now getting more people to know about it. Then we have the free economic zones that were created by the Honduran government. Prospera is basically responsible in a way to develop one of these free economic zones that is located in Roatan. So that's Prospera. And because of Prospera, some other companies decided to use the regulations and to use this space to actually come and build here. We call it layer 2 because of crypto, right? So layer 1 is Prospera, layer 2 is Infinita, the Bitcoin community, etc. So Infinita, Bitcoin Center, Bitcoin community are all layer 2s, basically communities and companies trying to build from Prospera to the world.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I understand now.
We need more layer, and the goal is to bring more layers too, right? We need
More
to bring
layers.
another
what,
layer
What
2.
could a layer 3 look like?
A layer 3 would be the company, right? Would be the companies developing the. We have a company that was here that now won the Draper Award for 1 million, which basically is using period blood for stem cells collection, which is insane. They just won last week a Draper Award of $1 million. And so these are the layer 3 are the companies that we attract inside the different hubs. So imagine in the Nomad space, Nomad Collective from Daniel Thompson, they are doing here in July a whole month with families dedicated for community and families. We rented all the villas, building the community for families. So this will be a case of layer 3, which is layer 2 will be Digital Nomads Roatan, hopefully soon, working on it. Layer 3 will be Daniel Thompson and Nomad Collective come here with his community and build his business from here as well.
Yeah. And then as a layer 4, could it be that I don't even have to be physically there to start my company, or
Correct.
Can I already do that?
There are two things that are interesting in that regard. The first one is you can open a company completely remotely with never setting foot in Roatan or in Honduras, just like Estonia, same process, basically, I think even faster. But what's very new is that you can do the same for residency. So if you're a full-time digital nomad, right now you can have a residency in Prospera, Roatan, physical residency for your taxes, which is insane. There are some conditions. The first one is 5,000 flat rate for the whole year. This already includes your tax, the management fee, etc., etc., etc. And you have to come here 7 days per year, which is quite insane. So if you want to learn more about that, just look Nomad Layers, Lump Tax, Prospera, and you'll find the help. But if you make good money and if you are a full-time nomad, this is actually a very decent solution compared with others that may require you to be longer, like Paraguay, etc. But I'm not saying it's the best, but it's one of the best for sure.
Super exciting stuff.
It's crazy.
And why I love the subject so much, because I think a big part of it for me is that I kind of come from a microstate, by nature. So I've seen the results of governments that are able to think ahead and to do things that other countries haven't tried yet. So that's something that really caught my eye in the last few weeks, because I was quite aware that Prospera and Roatan as a whole had a lot of these companies in the biotech space. But I think that the breakthroughs over the last year that are coming out of AI are making it so that it's now not going to be just a couple of these companies that are creating solutions, but it's going to be opening a tidal wave of these startups. And when you look at jurisdictions that were able to foresee what is going to come next and create a stable regulatory environment for these entrepreneurs, they create that first ecosystem, that the overused word of a hub. Becoming a hub for a certain sector might not seem sticky, but once you then start having at least a couple hundred people who are very talented in that particular field, they tend to stay. And the main reasons for people to establish themselves are the regulatory and the tax, but the reasons to stay long term are the network effects of having so many people from that same industry having coffee and playing padel. And that's something that I'm really excited for myself is to come over and visit this summer. As I mentioned, I'm going to be there in July and August of this year. And I have been to other places that kind of had this idea of creating a new country in the last 5 to 10 years, but I haven't seen any that actually have a bit more infrastructure, real government backing them, and the idea that Roatan is actually an island is also very interesting because of the safety aspect. So it's a lot easier to take care of an island than it is something attached to mainland Latin America in that sense. So I do see its potential in the coming years, and I'm excited to be a bit early in that story. As well, what I noticed as well is when I started offering digital nomad residency to people around the world, In the first year of that program, there was incredible people who were applying for the program, billionaires, for entrepreneurs. And I mean, I guess that just goes to show that a lot of these people who are the team drapers of this world are early adopters. So they go through a space before it becomes popular. And so I guess that's why you see so many of these A-lists there on a monthly basis, and it's only because the masses haven't picked up their attention yet. So personally, I think it's going to be a very exciting few years for the whole project, and yeah,
It's still so early. That's the thing, right? So imagine you were mentioning AI, and I'm trying to develop here an AI hub, but not in the sense of let's build companies here also. But for me, AI will be about people, about guys like you that are building your own shit, that are basically spending your time digging deeper into this AI world, trying different products, trying different ideas, market fit, repeat, repeat, repeat. So for me, the future of this area is people like us that want to go deep, but by experienced this, right? When we were in Bansko all together, I learned so much from you from this side of business. You pushed me to vibe code. Now I'm building stuff as well. At the same time, I brought you this community aspect and we were all together going to the sauna. This is what we're looking for. So if we are maybe the future of talent attraction, what we're trying to do here is not only the companies. We need to attract the people building. We need to be the best hub for people like us to build in AI. And there is nobody doing this properly. Maybe network school as one building, but not as a location that you actually can interact with locals, where you can have a physical impact, when you can have a community impact and actually teach the locals as well. What the hell is this world? Well done. This can be the next place. We have a tower with 84 apartments, ready to go with the co-working space, with the sauna. I can bring the cold plunges. I already bought them. So it's possible, and it's still early. Nobody's doing this. So maybe Luca coming here in July can be the first one to actually put the flag, like old school flag, and then the AI flag, and start developing this, because I don't think anyone is doing this properly elsewhere. And probably here, one of our heads of Prospera is actually did 2 exits into the AI world. He had 2 AI companies, 2 exits, Lonis. So there's definitely knowledge here, but nobody built a community, nobody positioned it like that. We need a layer 2. Luca is coming. Maybe Rick comes with him.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. Time will tell. I haven't made my plans yet for summer. I know that I will be in Bansko for Nomad Fest, but after that, it's wide open. When I first got introduced to big brains coming together, the first experience for me was Edge City in Chiang Mai. I think this was in 2024. And I've heard of Edge City before and of Zuzalu, I think, because they all have crypto somehow plugged in, but also different fields. And I was so surprised when I arrived in Chiang Mai and I didn't even know about this stuff happening, but someone mentions in a cafe, Vitalik walked by yesterday, and then 2 days later you're on the same stage as Vitalik. It's like, what's going on here? So many smart people, and you can just talk to them. Was that a step one towards more these nomad communities, where that was just a pop-up city, not really regulations involved, but now we are taking this a step further and actually having a physical location, including good regulations for actually getting shit done for these big brains?
Yes. And for example, Infinita, the layer 2, started in Zuzalu. It's actually the first network, the first what they call it, pop-up city they built was Zuzalu, and then everything else, Edge City, etc., came after that. And Infinita was born in the first Zuzalu, this idea of building a community of doers that were together into longevity was actually started in Zuzalu, and then they found a place to build it here in Prospera, exactly like you said, because of the regulations. I think that the future of Prospera, if everything goes well, or at least in Roatan, would be to recreate Zuzalu, Edge City, etc., full time. If they do things well, this should be the end vision. We are very far away from it, to be honest with you. As the perfect vision, that's it. The place where the most incredible people come to build, to connect. These people came for 1 month, usually. That was Zuzalu, 1-2 months. Imagine we can do this full time, and you have 2 months dedicated to longevity, but then you have 2 months dedicated to whatever, then 2 months dedicated to building AI apps, and you have all the AI companies coming here, sponsoring it. This is possible. It's possible this year. We just need somebody to lead it. This is the challenge right now, is because of the previous issues with the government. So the short story is, this was created by a right-wing government. Socialists came, tried to destroy it, and now it's right-wing again. So we are not trying to get destroyed anymore. So now we have full-on backing from the government. We are not fighting the government anymore, which is good because we don't spend so much energy.
Is
And
that
the time to
fight
build is
over?
now.
Is that fight
Yes.
over?
Well,
Because I read something about a $11 billion lawsuit with. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Because this is basically governments. You work with the
yes.
governments, but it's also a lawsuit against governments. What's your
Yes. So
standpoint here?
it's the same story, meaning the right-wing government started this, and then the literally socialist government came in and said, we don't want investment, we don't want anything, we want to burn it all down, basically. And so there was a big fight. They tried to shut us down several times, etc. And because of all that, our solution, because in the end, this is foreign direct investment, right? Which basically means, I'm not too technical on this, that this is foreign direct investment, mostly from the US coming here, which is protected by several treaties around the world that protect foreign direct investment in countries, and Honduras is part of those treaties. Therefore, because of those treaties, we had to actually sue the Honduras government for trying to shut this down and trying to take down the ZE law. And we had to basically fight for survival for 4 years against the socialist government. Right now, the government completely changed. Socialists failed miserably in most places around the world, including here in Honduras. So now we have a government that's much more friendly with foreign direct investment, that actually follows the laws, which is something new. And so now we are very optimistic that we'll settle that case against the Honduras government. It was basically survival. Like, you cannot shut us down because of international rules. We are not making up laws. This is the law that regulates you as well as government and regulates us as Prospera. So right now we want to end all fights with government. We want to build. And so we are working on the settlement, make sure that everything goes well. We are basically bringing millions of foreign direct investment to Honduras, which is unheard of in a place like Honduras. But when some of these people from the government and others come by, what they're really surprised is the diversity. They would expect that Americans are here. Yet on the school, for example, Pristine Academy, we have kids from 20 different countries, from everywhere that you can imagine, like Portugal, Spain, Israel, Venezuela, Brazil, like the whole globe is represented there. And again, this never happened in a place like Honduras, only happens because of this law and because of Prospera. And so they start to understand that the reason they created this was exactly this. They want to attract investment and people to a country that was devastated with several things, including socialism. And it's kind of working. And it worked even though they were trying to fight us. We kept growing and growing and growing. So the expectation for the next 4 years is exponential growth, startup kind of growth, and no more fights, please. We just want to build.
Yeah, and if we look at the businesses active in Prospera, it is actually going exponential, right? It's doubling every year, starting from basically 2022. Like, over the past 4 years, it grew 4x. If it continues like this is a straight line up, which I actually expect it will be, because people will only get to know more and more about Prospera, right? Do you have any
Yes.
like expectations where this line is going to go over the next 5 years?
It only depends on us right now. So I don't work with the whole Prospera side. I'm working for now with attracting people. So I cannot tell you the specifics on where do we want to go, but straight up is the line, right? Just like Estonia. If we can base ourselves in Estonia, the last report said 25,000 companies were registered in Estonia until, I want to say 2 years ago, but the first time I saw the full report. 25,000 companies are paying taxes and are registered in Estonia just because this small country built the e-residency. It's wild.
All of their companies, and that's just in 5 years. So in 10 years, does that become 50%? In 20, does that become 80%? No, and those are the interesting scaling economics, and I mean, I would compare it to places like the UAE, right? Places like Dubai is where it became the center point of all of the migration. So all of the hotels, the services, the infrastructure was built for people to move there. And then you had other parts like Abu Dhabi, which were then more focused on the locals. I would imagine something similar for Honduras, where you have Roatan, which is really bringing in the foreign investment. There's infrastructure being built, there's tourism being built, and the people on the mainland are still able to benefit from that upside.
But
when
there is
you're
more,
saying,
Luca. Sorry, that was just interrupt because there is more. Actually, Prospera also has a place, a land on the mainland, and we plan to do something completely different there, which is more like an industrial hub, because we're very close from the US, actually. So our whole idea with the second hub would be to build something actually completely different. So if Roatan will attract mostly founders and online companies, this one will be the opposite. It will be much more about manufacturing, porting, etc. So it's not like we are on this specifically bubble of founders of tech companies, which is mostly what we are having here. It's actually, this can be applied to any country. Right now is our partnership with Honduras, but nothing prevents us as a company to do the same partnership with Malta next year. Nothing prevents us to do the same partnership with any country. Brazil needs a Zede. Like, I tried to invest there. It was a nightmare. Imagine Brazil now has a Zede, and there is a project for that in Florianopolis. So it doesn't need to be always for the same markets. Built for Honduras is the whole online ecosystem and the whole development work and investment that actually makes a place like a Zede a free economic zone.
This is super interesting. I didn't know that it's actually being built like an operating system for countries in that sense, more than just for one location. And from these 400, 500 companies, like, are you seeing a lot of them which are actually having like founders and employees and teams set up? Or so far, a lot of them are mainly basing them it's like remotely operated companies in that sense?
I would say mostly remotely operated. We have some already developing, and we rented offices for some of them that are really operating from here. For example, one of the biggest wallets of Bitcoin is now based here and operating from here. And we have others just doing simple things like telemarketing and stuff already operating here as well. We don't have yet many offices. So we have also this egg and the chicken problem where if you bring lots of companies here, the infrastructure is not ready to have 300 people in an office right now. We have probably offices for altogether, I would say 150 people to 300 if we really develop it well, what we have right now. So we can also not accommodate everybody at the same time. Right now, we still have space because most companies are online and they come here for 1, 2, 3 months. They pass by, they stay here, but then they are mostly like remote workers, digital nomads. Even lots of people from Honduras are investing here because, again, investing in this country is a nightmare. And with the free economic zone in our country, there is no reason why we wouldn't invest through the free economic zone instead of just trying to deal with bribes and etc.
Are there any
Yeah.
other free economic zones like Prospera in the world? Like we mentioned Dubai. What are the other ones? Or like maybe up and coming? Or is this a unique one?
There are
Ireland,
5,000. There are 5,000 free economic zones around the world. 5,000.
What?
The issue is that most of them are not properly managed, so you don't know about them. But there is 5,000. Very few are really successful, but there are 5,000 of them. I think the most successful cases right now would be Singapore, Dubai, and Shenzhen. Like,
Yeah.
Shenzhen was basically a village, like 10 years ago, and it's wild. Chinese are wild. So there is just 5,000. And so there's a whole market to develop into managing properly free economic zones, into actually making it work. So there's a lot to do. Most countries have Portugal has a kind of a free economic zone in Madeira Island. Canary Island is kind of a free economic zone as well. So there's a lot to do. What Honduras did very well, and it's very special here, and kudos to the previous government, not the socialist, the other one, was that giving the regulatory power made sure that the companies that are in the forefront developing something completely new and unheard of can actually come here, which is what's happening with biotech and Infinita. And this is special. This is special. Across all these 5,000, I don't think any of these countries created such a perfect framework to foster new ideas that are not fully regulated by FDA, but they actually work and let the market decide. This is brand new and this is Prospera only, yet more than 5,000 free economic zones.
And who are the decision makers of these free economic zones then? Is it the government? Is it the country? Is there like a team that manages it? Like, who do you talk to if you're designing this?
The government, 100%. These are created by the government and managed by the government. We have a person that is appointed by the government to manage the relationship, and that we are following all the laws, etc., etc., etc. So it's always the government, usually inside the development economic plan, and that's where these free economic zones pop, and that's what happened here in Honduras as well, with the idea of developing the country and the economy, and they decided to start these ones.
5,000 free economic zones, but there's no 5,000 countries in the world. Which country is making multiples?
You can have several. China has several economic zones, and Dubai as well. So even inside Dubai, you have a media city. So what they did in Dubai, which I love, and I think it's genius. I studied the whole history of Dubai before coming here. that they started by creating hubs, right? They have the tech hub, they have the financial hub, they have the media city. Now they have the one dedicated to creators. They're paying creators to move to Dubai, and they're putting them in a zone and helping them develop these relationships that Luca was talking about. One country can have hundreds of free economic zones.
Luca, why doesn't Malta have a free economic zone yet? They were doing well with the iGaming a few years ago, but then it's kind of...
It's my proposal is to build an artificial island for free trade off the coast of Malta. There's like this little spot that it can be done. But
Gozo.
yeah,
Let's do it in Gozo. Let's do Gozo free economic zone, man.
land is super scarce here, so I think that's probably one of the main reasons. But what I think is a super cool like free business idea for anyone watching, and it can only have like net positive for the world, is, there's an undersupply today of genetic testing. So this is a facility where you can go in, get your genome mapped, and once you have your genome mapped, that's your data. So that data you can take home with you, or you can take it to Roatan. So I think there's a huge opportunity for people around the world to set up literally just genome sequencing. Somebody can walk in the door in any country in the world, get their genome sequenced, and then you become that liaison between the people who are doing the testing and the RNA vaccine development in Roatan. So I think that would be super cool to see, is that kind of franchise model coming out of Roatan, where you have this company by the GitLab founder that's doing the testing and the drug development, and then you have hospitals around the world testing patients and curing cancer on a case-by-case basis. The more I talk about this, the more excited I get, because I just feel like, if you were sick in today's world and you don't know about this, it would suck, right? So it's like I want to continue talking about it, and I really believe that in the coming years, it's going to this is going to really accelerate Prospera and Roatan as a whole, because I don't think any other country was ready for this. And based on what I know about Europe, it's going to take even longer, because Europe has the national governments, and then you have the European Medicines Agency. Maybe in the US, RFK Jr., he's the head of the FDA. He wakes up one day and he accelerates things. But, even there, it's a much larger country, 600 million people. Decisions have much bigger consequences. So this is the interesting part about somewhere like Roatan, It's really cool that they have strategy to have something on the mainland that makes sense, because then if you are doing manufacturing and exporting, you want to be on the mainland. So yeah, I think I'm super excited to visit there this summer. And whenever I do something like this, usually the results are what you don't expect. So I think there's some things that I have my assumptions and kind of things that I'm excited for about Roatan, but yeah, I'm super open to see what can be done. As you guys know, my startup at the moment is building basically government services as a private business, So for my use case, it's digitizing the public court system in Malta. But, entering a country that is open to seeing other government services developed, like maybe there's some opportunities for me there. So yeah, I think this year is a good year to try different things.
I have a feeling and a prediction that Luca is going to go into the mRNA cancer solutions with AI. I'm pretty sure. It is like the third science corner in a row that Luca is mentioning this. Yeah, that's my prediction. Also, if we are throwing some business ideas here, I have one too. And when Goncalo was talking, since there's 5,000 free economic zones, but nobody knows of any of them, and there's only 400 companies in Prospera, I think there's a lack of marketing. And I think that's the big bottleneck and the big problem. So if you have a marketing brain and you know how to talk to governments and you know how to do marketing, I think there's an opportunity there too. And if you're not doing it, Goncalo is going to do it. So yeah, it's going to be a sprint here.
Yes.
Like an Airbnb of free trade zones.
But isn't that what I'm trying? Like, it's kind of what I'm doing already, right? I'm doing one by one, not as a marketing agency, but what all these governments fail at is marketing and development of the community, which for me comes together. Like, I see community as a way of marketing. I think my last talk in Bansko was something like that. Community is the ultimate marketing tool. So if you can, in places like this, where the quality of life is actually quite high, we have I'm looking at the Caribbean Ocean on my side, while I speak with you guys, it's insane. And if we can connect this with a marketing mind that actually understands people, because we're attracting people, and actually understand how to market this to the right community. And to be honest, Prosper is not good at this one as well. If you go see the marketing, I don't think we are doing a good job. So we are guilty, as most countries. Yet the other ones are so, so bad that we seem like the best in the world. But even us, we are not at the standard I would believe in. In this case, I believe, for example, the network school, they are nailing on the marketing side, even though it's just a building. Though it's, of course, it's biology behind it, but they are doing so many things well in terms of community, experiences, etc. And they know how to market so much better than what we are doing right now. This is self-criticism as well. There is definitely a lot to do. And this is the best ones. So imagine all the other 4,999. It's just, they are really, really bad. And most of them fail. Like most projects for nomads failed. Most projects to attract talent failed. And they just don't want to admit it. They say it was a success because they attracted 20 people and 100 people applied from India. That's okay, but that's not success. Success is actually attracting talent, building networks, and making sure that people come here and thrive here. So there is a lot to do, and I think Rick idea is genius, and I'm kind of doing it. I think I want to do it more time with Prospera first. I want to help here because there's a lot to do. Again, it's very, very, very early. We were 4 years fighting the government. So now it's the time to market. Now it's the time to build. There's so many opportunities to market this place. We're in one of the most beautiful places in the world. We don't market it. So we need to push for that.
So,
and then the rest of the world. I can tell the new one is Zanzibar. Zanzibar is building. And they announced it, the new free economic zone, just last week here at the conference. And they have lands and it's close to the ocean and it's going to be very, very, very interesting. They have 0 buildings yet. So they only have the land, I think a stadium, something like that. But if you look for something free economic zone, something Zanzibar, it will pop up. And the guy is really smart. I like what they're doing. They're presenting here. I think it's going to be not saying the next Prospera, but something very similar into direction. And hopefully I want to see more countries. I want to see Brazil. If Brazil opens a free economic zone, I'm on the first airplane to say, "Go, let's go, let's work."
Zanzibar. I was in Dubai in May last year, and I'm not sure if it was Zanzibar or another island near Tanzania, where they were talking about indeed a free economic zone or setting up. Their whole concept was AI agents will have wallets, but those wallets
Yes.
have to be regulated.
It's this one.
Oh, it's the same. Okay, I was in a car with this guy. But yeah, so yeah, I was like, what the fuck? These guys are thinking totally on a different level. I'm trying to grasp AI agents and wallets, but they're like now already giving those agents bank accounts in a regulated place. I was like, whoa, this is gonna change the game.
I don't fully understand what they're doing. They were presenting it. I was like, what's happening here? But it's that direction. And they're already thinking, okay, what happens if the whole work is done by AI agents? Do we need a AI twin of us? What will they have? So they're next level. But other than that, that's true. And they want to build. So they have all this project to build an incredible place to live. Again, I'm a human-centric people that loves AI. So I'm on kind of the other side of most people in AI. I think AI will free space for us to become more human and to connect more as humans. This is my whole theory. I will build conference around this. I will do podcasts about this. I really believe that AI, ironically, will make us more human in the end of the day. So when you build something like this for AI, when you build AI hubs, etc., what you're really doing is connecting people that love and care about AI, that will build on AI, and through that, they will connect with each other as humans. And that's the beauty for me of all this space and what we can build in the future.
What's your playbook of attracting the right people? You've built communities all around the world. Do you have like any goodies to know like, okay, I want to attract this type of people, but I don't really want these people? Or
We
like
create rules.
open for everyone?
It's rules.
Rules, yeah.
Yes and no. So we are open for everyone, but I really believe in the Seth Godin theory. People like us do things like that. He has a whole book called Tribes, and he believes that everybody should be a tribe leader. So when you're bringing people to a place like I did in Madeira and I'm doing here, you first want to attract your tribe. I always want to attract my tribe everywhere. My tribe are usually digital nomads, entrepreneurs that have the freedom to work from anywhere and want to be around other people to be inspired daily, to push their mentality forward. And the last time I experienced this was with you guys in Bansko. So even here, I still don't have altogether, also because I'm working in so many things and trying to the last time I felt this was with you guys, and it was like, damn, I want this over and over and over and over again. I want to live 12 months on this. Let's build it. But the truth is, some cool people will join, others will not. what will always happen is that the people staying will be the people that you want to stay. Because when you build a community, you create certain types of events, you create certain types of behaviors, and you lead always by example. You can say, oh, but people are doing this and that. Usually people copy the leader. I tried different community leaders in Madeira. After 3 months, the whole community adapted to the leader. It was very interesting test bed to see this. When I had someone more free spirit, etc., the community went very hippie. When I had somebody more focused on business, the community was talking business every day. The only thing I changed was the community manager. Everything else was the same. So you need to be very, very clear. Who do you want? Build experiences for them. And again, if the first 10 people come, people like us bring people like us. So if you bring the 10 founders, these 10 founders know 100 more. They'll promote online. So the next week you'll have 20 founders, and it just scales. Madeira went from 20 people on the 1st of February of 2021 to 2,500 in May. In 3 months, we literally scaled beyond my imagination, to be honest with you. Just because people were coming, they were having a super strong community experience. So they invited all their friends. They were posting everywhere online, guys, Madeira is open. There is a bee community here. It's up and coming. And just kept sharing and sharing and sharing. It went crazy. We attracted in that year over 25,000 people, nomads mostly, because I was leading the project. So for me, it's a lot about being vocal about what you want, about the events. The events are basically how you connect people, but also be vocal about who you don't want. So in this conversation, I told you, Prospera is not ready as an experience for digital nomads. And I'm being honest, I could lie to you and I say, we're ready, come here, you're going to be very happy. We are not. We are not yet at the level of experience where you come here and you are happy right away because we have everything ready for you. We are building it. And yet what we are really ready for is people who want to come early and want to build. This is me setting the line for the world of who I believe will enjoy here right now and who will not enjoy. And I know this because I tested. I brought nomads here, brought my community. Half loved it, half hated. The ones that loved it were entrepreneurs, were building. They saw 1 million opportunities in every conversation. The others had a job and they were like, I don't like this. The experience is not at the level of Bali. Yes, obviously. I wish. But by saying clearly and openly who this is not for, by being honest, the right people will come. So wherever I go, I do the same. When I went to Madeira, it was a certain kind of people. When I'm building Cabo Verde, well, guys, this is more basic. You need to be more adventurous. This is Africa light, but still Africa. So it's not for everyone. If you're looking for Bali, this is not Bali. If you're looking for a new destination, you want to come early, you want to explore a new country in a community, this is for you. So very openly communicate who do you want, why, what's there, what's in there for them. So far, it works every single time.
That's spoken as a true location architect. And that's just that line was so good. I remember when you described yourself as a location architect. I'm like, wow, that's very well found. This really does want 2 keywords that just describe me, what I do. Can you maybe give a short story how you got to that name?
I think in December last year, so 4 months ago, I had an identity crisis. A big one. My ego was dead because I was the king of nomads. I was the nomad guy. I was the nomad guy for everyone, for governments. My company built this stuff with many governments all around the world. And suddenly I am fixed in a location. I bought a car and I want to build in Prospera. And I want to travel, but I don't want to have my previous nomadic life. I want to be here for 9 months a year. I want to go to Brazil for 2 months and to Portugal for 1 month. That would be my ideal here. And so it's like, oh, fuck, maybe I'm not the nomad guy anymore. So who the hell am I? So yes, AI. I went to a soul search with AI, trying to find who the fuck am I? And we went through what I love to do. Where is my area of genius? What would I do if there was no money involved? I would probably keep building destinations and communities. Yes, I'm paid, but honestly, if I'm not, I'll just move to a new place and build it up for myself. This is the honest answer. If Prospera stops paying me tomorrow, I'll probably go to somewhere in Brazil or Europe or elsewhere, and I'll just build my community and probably in a new destination that has the conditions. So after ping pong what I really do, what's my dream, why nobody does what I do, I reached to the conclusion that what I really do is I design destinations. Madeira, when I arrived there, was a tourist hotspot for old people to go and put their belly up. After 2 years, Madeira is a nomad hub. Young people, young tourists are going there. Well, young people are moving there because we designed the destination in a way that people like us will want to move there. And so somehow in these 2 words and trial and error and a little bit of taste, usually AI has very little taste, so you have to introduce taste to AI. We reached the conclusion that I love to build destinations. Destination builder looks like I'm trying to build buildings and go to construction. I'm terrible with my hands. I can only use keyboards and volleyballs, basically. So as I design destinations, I reached the conclusion that should be a destination architect, because even though I don't really build, I design it in the what I do with destinations is basically redesign the whole ecosystem. I partner with the locals. I see what's missing. I understand who is here. What can we benefit? Why is this special? For example, every destination I build, we have to have a hook experience. In Madeira was hiking, best hiking in the world. In Cabo Verde, we had kitesurf, but also a lot of this kind of traveling around and Africa experiences and music. In Pipa, Brazil, was surf. So everywhere I build something, we need to have a hook. And the hook here is diving. Some of the best diving in the world, second largest coral reef. I literally see the coral reef from my window every single day. It's crazy beautiful. So diving is the hook. But besides diving, yes, we have the hook dive, and then we have everything else that we need to build to attract and to keep people here. So that's how I reach destination architect. I'm building destinations. I don't want to build only for nomads. So my ego kind of died a little bit there. I still don't know what to do with Nomadex. So if you have ideas, please send help. And I want to build destinations, ideally with governments, if not with free economic zones, if not with companies. I've been approached by failing resorts that want to transform themselves in a kind of a micro city for people like us. This is interesting, right? It's like resorts that are failing because they cannot attract tourists because probably they're in the wrong location, no marketing, etc. They want to transform themselves in a city or in a village for people like us. How insane it is, right? And it's not that hard, which is the irony of this. So yeah, I can work with resorts, I can work with governments, but whatever I do, it's going to be always community-centric, and I would design the destination. I would do from everything from connecting the locals, attracting people, design the experiences, up to global promotion. So destination architect.
Then how could someone else go to a random place, then see the potential like you did in Ponta del Sol in Madeira, for example? You go there, you see potential. How do you go from seeing potential to actually building and getting to conversations with governments and all of that?
I think, I may be wrong, but I think nobody else succeeded yet. I may be wrong, but I speak with everybody trying. The closest I like, and they're not doing everything right, will be Japan. Japan, the government understands it. Fukuoka is doing an incredible job. We see cities like Nagasaki betting hard, yet they don't understand, or most of them, just Fukuoka now has a community manager. They didn't implement the whole thing. They're not very good with marketing, and they still didn't implement this community-centric approach, but they want to. I'll say South Korea is doing a great job with, Jeong is just amazing. But other than that, at the government level, someone coming in a place, working in partnership with the government to build something unique and being able to promote it to the world, I don't think anybody else did it. And the reason why is that it's just fucking hard. You have to deal with the government that is used to tourism metrics. You have to explain them what a digital nomad is, why it matters. Then you have to build the experience with the local players. If it's a touristic place, you have to make them push the prices down, because this is not 30 nights, this is a monthly price. You need to educate the local government, then you need to educate the local businesses, then you need to educate the local people. If you go, I did this in Madeira. In the restaurants, we didn't have vegetarian food, yet 25% of nomads want to have at least a couple of vegetarian options in their menus. So we had to educate the people and the businesses to bring vegetarian food. It's an ecosystem kind of design. That's why it's so hard. And your partners are the whole ecosystem. You have to convince the government, work with them, make them understand your metrics. You have to work with the businesses, work with them, make sure they understand their metrics. You have to work with the individuals so they don't hate you, work with them, understand their metrics, understand what they want from this community. And you have to connect all these with the people you want to attract. It's hard. It's an ecosystem. You are literally building an ecosystem from zero, usually in 3 months to 1 year. Because then the government will not pay you just because you are you. They get 1 million pitches every single day, everybody asking for money. Why you? Why are you special? Why are you different from all these other 999 pitches that they did? And usually we don't know the answer. It's really, 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 even myself, with all the work I did with 10 governments, most governments say no, literally. Say, yeah, cool, but we don't want to pay you. And it's me, whatever that means. I did this before. I showed my results and governments still say, eh. So the honest answer is really, really, really hard. I would say study communities, study marketing, study governments. I now understand governments. I understand exactly when they are saying yes or no. Even when it seems obvious a win-win situation, they will still say no because their status is to reduce risk. How can I do something that the risk of burning myself is zero? That's it. Being a president or a mayor, it's a business of reducing risk of getting burned to zero. So how can you guarantee this to them when nomads are backfiring in Barcelona, Lisbon, etc.? It's a hard business, and that's why probably I am the only one still trying to do it.
Okay, that's an answer I didn't expect. I thought anyone could maybe try.
Rick, let's be honest, you can at a building level. So for example, Bansko is a good case. Bansko started with one co-working space. It was not the government. Arguably, the government still don't fully understand what happened. Bansko started with two crazy guys, Uwe and Matthias, that built a co-working space and believed that if they bring 10 people there and give them a very strong community-centric experience, more people will come. They were right. They built Bansko without the government and they profit from it. Did they profit a lot? Arguably. But for example, Uwe is doing a great job building new places, building new co-living spaces, etc. So there is a business there. It's a business that you need to invest your time and your full focus into building the ecosystem by yourself without returns first. But there is a business there. Is it the best business in the world? Arguably, but if you love your village, if you want to live there, if you miss the international community, if you have some connections, if you have a group of friends who can almost partner like an NGO, an association and go together, it's possible to go do it as a business. It's just not a very profitable business, but can be a side business for anyone, for example.
What I think a lot of people don't realize is I guess this is what people have been doing for hundreds of years, right? Going west, as people would say, is looking for what is the next opportunity. And it does take an entrepreneurial person to go somewhere and see what it can become and also enjoy that process of 5 to 10 years to actually make it something. The time scales are at least 5 to 10 years, I think, for something like this. But Madeira seems to happen overnight, but maybe it was also thanks to the time periods that it happened as well.
Yes, 100%. So Madeira, we were lucky in many ways. The first way is we had a government that somehow believed the guy with shirts and a t-shirt when they told him, yeah, I can make a whole nomad project from scratch to you and I'll attract thousands of people. They believed in that, and they paid me to do it, which is very interesting. The second thing was we had COVID and Madeira was very smart on the second wave, where they didn't implement the second lockdown. So when the whole Europe went on the second lockdown, I want to say in February 2021, Madeira decided to do just a curfew at 8 p.m. or something so that people wouldn't just go party, go outside and be in huge amounts of people. Yet they were open enough that the airport was still open. They were paying your test on arrival. So if you go to Madeira, you have to test, but you could test for free on arrival. And after 2-3 hours, you'll have the result of your test. And if you are positive, you stay at home. If you're not positive, you can go enjoy. They were very smart in many ways. We had the perfect support from Startup Madeira. They understood the operation. They worked a lot on it. So Madeira was the perfect storm in almost everything for the first 2-3 years. I was very sad when the project ended just because I have a funnel, right? This is all a funnel for me. So we have tourism, digital nomads, remote workers staying, expats. 25% of remote workers are entrepreneurs. So the whole goal of all this is to build an ecosystem of people building stuff, right? And in Madeira, I couldn't build the ecosystem. So it took me 4 years to go from zero to attracting people to live there, buying houses, investing in Madeira. We did all that. We increased the number of new tech companies registered in Madeira in 81% or something like that across the project. I was let go before I built the ecosystem. That made me really sad. But then it was better for me because then I did Brazil, I worked with Rio, I did Pipa. So in the end, it was better for me in terms of professional development, but it was my baby. So I was a little bit sad and I wanted to build the ecosystem and Madeira could be a new Malta, not overbuilt, but with a great place to build businesses and lots of people moving there, almost.
I mean, Malta, I feel is a bit of a very interesting period, especially the last few weeks. There's a lot of people coming over from Dubai and this sort of thing. which is, oh, it's super exciting. And for the first time in like the last 10 years, I feel like there's a lot more of general builders and not just builders in like the iGaming space or the crypto space, which for me is super refreshing because that's what I always used to find exciting about places like Portugal, Bansko, anywhere else in the world. So I look for inspiration from people outside of my knowledge field. So looking forward for sure for this summer. I know the courts in Malta go on break in July and August. I've already told my colleagues I'm going to be away for those 2 months. So Roatan, get ready for a rego, you know?
Oy, oy, oy.
I may be going to Malta in June because I may have been invited by someone in charge to visit again.
Interesting. But maybe
Give
that's
my
when I'm
regards.
visiting too, Luca. Maybe that's what I'm visiting too. Maybe the last question here is going to be, we talked about location architect, but one other principle or a nice word that I like in the nomad community is life design. Because what we as nomad actually do is designing our life how we want it to be. And you mentioned self-employed, entrepreneurial, location independent, like all of these things are pillars in how you can design your life, which I'm actively doing, and I think you guys are doing that too. If there's like one tip that would you give to the audience of like what you learned over those 10 plus years of being a nomad, living in different places, working with different entrepreneurs, governments, and all of that, and then also in thinking about the life design thing, like what would be the one takeaway that you want to give to the audience?
I think I have to. Sorry, I like to break the rules.
2 or 3 is good. Yeah, sure.
The first one is, ironically, self-knowledge. You cannot find a place that you like if you don't know yourself to the deepest level. And this is not woo-woo stuff. I'm the least woo-woo people in the world. I don't believe in universe, blah, blah, blah. Yet, through my journey of self-knowledge, I was able to unleash happiness, full understanding of how I operate, full understanding of what motivates me, why sometimes I don't want to leave the bed, why I have ups and downs. So self-knowledge helped me understand, okay, what am I looking for in a place? And I have my checklist. Okay, what I'm looking for in the community in the place. So, for example, I went to Da Nang in 2018. There was a growing community. It's always tech nerds that were not social, and I was depressed. And I was like, okay, this is not it. In Bali, I was crazy happy in 2019 because it was all people like us building shit. We stay late together, then we go for a run for sunset. We go eat good steak, and then we go back to building. Like, yes, this is my people. So it's like, the self-knowledge is more important than anything else you'll do in your life. The more you know yourself, the more successful you will be. And you just understand the energy levels. You just understand what motivates you. You just understand the people that give you energy and the people that drain you their energy. And my goal in life, while I design my life, is always to be surrounded by people who energize, who push me to be at the co-working space after sauna at 1 a.m. because we got excited about an idea we got at the sauna in Bansko. Right, Rick? And so all this for me is key. And the reason why I can double down in things like this, even being a father, my girl is 3 years old, is because I understand what motivates me. I understand my seasonality. I understand fully my ADHD. I see ADHD as my superpower. And instead of getting frustrated when I don't get things done, I go for a swim or I go to the gym. Like today, I was dead in the morning. I had zero energy, and now I'm here fully energized speaking with you because I understand that talking with people like you would give me energy. So even though I didn't want to get up off the bed, even though I had a terrible week, right now I'm ready to conquer the world. The only reason, because I love these conversations. So self-knowledge, number one, for sure. If you know yourself, I can tell you the steps I did. The first was very woo-woo thing was personalities.com, the Myers-Briggs test. It's fake. It gives you your operating mode. So by that, I was able to know myself, how I operate, how I manage things, what I'm very good at, what I'm terrible at. Like I'm very good. I know exactly what will happen in the future. Yet I'm terrible with operations. I can take 1 week to answer email. Also, then I found ADHD. So all these things, then you combine things. Okay, what are my biggest strengths? I can come to anywhere in the world, and in 2-3 days, I can speak with everybody, understand it, and find the exact solution you need to implement. And sometimes, even if you're in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, they will only realize it 1 year later that Goncalo was right. Even in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And it's not because I'm smarter, it's because I see things at a high level, at the eagle eye, and I understand systems. I understand how things connect between each other. So self-knowledge, 16personalities.com. Find yourself, go meditate. It helps a lot. And the second thing is have a checklist of places you want to go, of things you want to do. So right now I went to AI, I did my checklist. I think it's like 4 or 5 things of my ideal destination and the places I love the most. So I need community, I need founders, I need paddle, I need CrossFit, and I need to be close to the beach. I need salt water in my skin. I can only live if I have salt water in my skin. Good. I went to AI. I love these kind of places. For example, there are super underrated places like Las Palmas, super underrated. I know it's kind of famous in our community, but it's not because nobody's really building the community to a big level. It's the best solid 8.5 in the world. It's 8.5 on everything. It's crazy how good yet not great it is on everything. And so then I got the list of potential places like that. Florianopolis was one of them. I'm going there this year for sure. Bali, obviously. Okay, these are the places I really want to go. And again, I move between communities. So I think if we go and think at the deeper level, and I think when was the times I was the happiest in my life? When was the times I was fully fulfilled in my life? They were always around people building things. Always. No matter if it was in university, was having 24 hours conf. No matter if it was in my nomad life, was in Bali, was in Bansko with you guys. Every time I look back, it's not even partying. It's literally having interesting conversations until 2 a.m. with people that light up my ADHD brain and push me to go to a computer, learn vibe coding and go build. And if you know this, then you just optimize your life to go around that, right? You just optimize your life to be surrounded by people that you believe in, that energize you and not drain you. And you just become a happier person. And if a place stops serving you, you are a nomad, so you just move to the next place. And if you're crazy, you want to build new places. And if you're me, you want to help other people to build new places. But that's part of my work. That's what excites me. And for me, it's even a trade-off, Prospera is not the ideal place for me in many ways because I don't have my cold plunge. I missed my 24 community. I don't have paddle yet. I'm building it. So as a place, it's not perfect for me yet because the building potential of what it can become is so big. I decided to move here. I decided to be less happy for 6 months or 1 year because then we can build something from us for us. And then my happiness level will be 50% for 1 year, let's say it. Then it can be 200% because we can build it. And if it doesn't work, I go to Floripa. And if it doesn't work, I go to Malta. And if it doesn't work, if things go really wrong, we always have Bali and Canggu, where I know my people are, and we can always go to the best gyms in the world. We can always go to the best cafes in the world, and we go do a reset in Bali. Always works. And that's a life worth living. That's what I want to do in the next 40 years with 1, 2, 3 babies. Who knows? It works. And I'm really, really happy doing this shit.
Awesome. I love that. And sometimes I'm wondering if the people like us, if all the nomads actually have ADHD, or like, I would love to see some stats there, honestly, because everyone I talk to here in Bansko and everywhere is like, oh, I have ADHD, this, that. But
I
anyway.
think there are 2 things. Yeah, some people have, I'll say 25%. It's above average for sure. Yet ADHD became very trendy. So everybody that is lazy now has ADHD. Well, the real superpower of ADHD, I like what Naval says about life. I think it's very cool. Is you should work like a lion, not like a cow. Lions, they rest the whole day. And when they go, they hunt, they are fast, but they are just chilling. They are looking around. They're asking what's happening. They're just chilling. They literally do nothing for most of the days. Yet when they go hunt, It's like intense 1 hour, go hunt, get a gazelle and go home kind of situation. Yet most people are working like cows. They open their laptop at 9 a.m. They close their laptop at 6. They're just ruminating. They kind of not even thinking anymore. So what Naval says for me just hits my nerve. When I'm feeling lazy, when I'm opening my laptop and I don't want to work, right now, I just close my laptop because I'm not a cow. I'm not sure about you guys. I'm not a cow. I'm a lion. So when I'm motivated, when something hits my nerve, like this week, I built a whole report for Roatan on tourism. I connected sources. I used Perplexity Computer for the first time. I built the whole thing in like 4 hours. People are like, when did you build this? You were doing TEDx. And yeah, I was bored, so I had this idea and I built it. And this is it. This is the lion mentality. Most people are working like cows. I don't think nomads are cows. I think when we decided to leave our status quo, to go against our families, to go against what everybody's telling us, I think we made a conscious decision to not be cows, to be lions. And that's why we can enjoy sunsets. That's why we can do massages at 10 a.m., but then we are working at 1 a.m., And let's be lions. So stop the cows.
Let's be lions, guys. Thank you very much, Gonzalo. This was awesome. I really, really enjoyed the episode and everything you've been sharing. You are an official friend of the pod. You are the first guest on the God Mode pod. And we are very happy to have you here today. To everyone listening, see you next week. Bye, bye, bye. Coding an App is the new starting a podcast. We are three dudes. We just started a podcast.
It's incredibly reckless in this world to not learn AI.
Everything is code. I recently realized everything is code. Luca, what are you predicting?
Underwater drones run by Pico Claw.
Okay. Wow, bombshell. Use an AI to write your prompt, bro. Come on. I am the greatest moderator in the world, and we see you guys next week. Love you, besties.